Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about why I'm furious that James Marsden has returned as Cyclops for Avengers Doomsday, and how I don't want him playing Cyclops, and I don't want to see him in any other projects going forward because of what he said and who he defended. So here's the thing, right? I've mentioned this before on my channel a long time ago. And so, like, I am no longer a James Marsden fan. I used to be back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Because the dude is squeaky clean, and he's pretty funny, and he's good at acting. Then one day, this YouTuber said that James defended a sex offender. I'm all like, what? So I looked it up. And by gosh, the man did. And who he defended and what he said and what he has not said afterwards has always left a sour taste in my mouth. So we all saw the teaser trailer for Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, with the X-Men, Cyclops using his optical blast, blasting something in a comics accurate suit. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is cool, but I don't want to see this guy no more. And sure enough, there are tons of people who either don't know about this or do know about this, but gave him a pass because he is in a comics accurate suit. And they're finally giving Cyclops his live action dues and everything after how much he was embarrassed in the Fox X-Men movies. And I'm just kind of like, really? That's all it takes for you people to like forgive what he did? All because he's in a comic accurate suit and he's looking cool and everything? But I forget, there are tons of simple-minded people in this world who give people passes for doing horrible things. Here's my thing. If the whole Epstein thing is pissing you off, then like who James defended should also equally piss you off. Now, granted, the man, Brian Peck, it was not as powerful or had like an island like Jeffrey Epstein, but the man messed around with minors, underage kids, and teenagers. And yes, this man is convicted, and yes, he is rotting away in prison. And James wrote a letter of consent towards this man for the judge and everything. And I am deeply disgusted by this. So first, let me tell you that James is completely innocent. James has not been accused of nothing. He has not touched nobody. For that part, he's good. But he defended somebody. And my thing is like this. If you defend somebody who is horrible, then that shows you are soulless and everything. Plain and simple as that. It shows that you are willing to be like a wrestler and turn a blind eye and cover your ears to when you hear things or see things and stuff, or get wind of stuff. And that's how a lot of wrestlers are. That's how a lot of celebrities are. That's how a lot of general people are. And I, for one, when I watch Avengers Doomsday, I'm not going to be happy and excited when I see James come on screen. So here's the man in question who did the nasty. Brian Peck. So I made a tiny mistake before. I said he was rotting away in prison. He actually got released in 2005. It was alleged in 2003, the stuff he did, convicted in 2004, and then released in 2005. So my bad. That's the only mistake I made. Now, he has continued to work 10 years after he got released. His last acting job was 2015. That shows you how much Hollywood really cares about this stuff. I mean, look at Harvey Weinstein. In fact, after his conviction and after he was released, he worked for Disney Channel. And the way he was on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody is because one of the writers or directors or somebody wrote a letter of consent. Then when Disney found this out, of course, they was a little pissed and everything. But that's all it takes. You write a letter of consent and then, oh, everything's all right. Now, who is Brian Peck? He's a 2-bit actor who doesn't really get that much acting jobs other than small guest roles. He actually was in the first 2 X-Men movies, the second one as a reporter, and the first one, the hot dog stand guy. So how exactly he got those jobs? Most likely it was probably James, but then again, the director has had some allegations against him as well, so it could have been him as well. Now, back in like 2001 or so, it was alleged that like Brian messed around with an underage boy. At that time, the documents didn't state who it was because they was trying to protect him. About, I don't know how many years later, that person turned out to be Drake Bell from Nickelodeon. What's that? The Amanda Show and Josh and what's that show called? Drake and Josh. That's it. And so in 2003, he was arrested in California. Not Drake Bell, but Brian Peck, and charged with like 11 counts of sexual misconduct towards that of a minor. Some of those read as oral compensation by using that of some type of drug to incapacitate his victim. Lewd acts upon a child 14 or 15 of a person 10 years older. Sodomy of a person under 16. Attempt to commit sodomy of a person under 16. Forcible penetration of a foreign object. 4 counts of oral compensation to a minor under 16. Harmful matter sent seductive of a minor and using a minor for a sex act. And this is the person that many celebrities decided to defend. This man is no good. This man is dirty. This man committed sexual assault towards that of minors and stuff. And mainly male minors, because Brian is openly gay and everything. And like I said before, after 2005, after he got out, he worked for Disney Channel of all things. He even did some voice work for some company and stuff. I think once they found out about his conviction, they had his lines dubbed, I believe. Now, there are tons of celebrities other than James that have defended him. Alan Thicke, Taron Killam, Ryder Strong, and what's that dude who played Eric, who's also in Kim Possible. What's that dude's name? Okay, it's Ryder Strong and Will Fidel from Boy Meets World and everything. They wrote letters of consent towards him. And Will was Batman Beyond, man. Like, come on, Will. Now, of course, some of these people have come out and said that, they was tricked into writing a letter of consent. In fact, the 2 Boy Meets World cast members on their podcast said that they was tricked. They was told by Brian that it was a one-time thing and that the person was almost 18 years old. Even if this was a one-time thing and the person was 17, close to 18, sexual assault is still sexual assault, and 17 is still a minor and everything. So these dudes suck in my opinion now. And I remember Maitland Ward, who played Rachel on Boy Meets World, she said she got a creepy vibe from Brian Peck because he guest starred on the show one time and he was constantly trying to hang out with Will and Ryder, which she found creepy because those guys were in their early 20s. And I think Brian was like around his 40s or 30s or something like that, and she couldn't understand why he constantly kept trying to hang out with them and stuff. And so, yeah, until this day, Drake Bell has said nobody has given him an apology who wrote a letter of consent to that of Brian. And especially not even James and stuff, and that he is devastated all these people wrote letters of consent. Now, Drake Bell has some allegations against him as well. Supposedly, he messed around with an underage girl. Don't know if that's true or not. However, whether that is true or not, the simple fact is him getting assaulted. People should also take that in consideration because nobody should be assaulted, especially when they are underage and they're working for a Nickelodeon show. Now, the thing that has me all riled up and all pissed off at James is the fact that, like, his association with that of Brian. James has known Brian for over 14 years. They used to live together, he said. He says that Brian is pure of heart and is like a mentor, and that he is gutted because, like, he just doesn't see Brian doing any of this stuff. He literally said that the earth will fall from the sky before Brian ever commits an act like this. He has said, and see, the thing about James is that he wrote his letter of consent in 2004, right before James was convicted. But the fact that he has ties to James and that he has lived with James and he so-called knows his character so well and everything, like, this is what's really disturbing. It's like, I think Brian might have messed around with more than just one person. And maybe, hey, just maybe, James has never seen Brian do any of this nasty stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is possible. And maybe he just never knew about none of this stuff. But it's kind of one of those things that when you do hear somebody talking about they were assaulted and that there's evidence and stuff like that, you must, in my opinion, always believe the victim and then later on do an investigation. The fact that they convicted this man, they had to have found some type of evidence linking Brian and Drake together and stuff. And if not Brian and Drake, I can't say his name right, then they probably linked Brian to other people and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that James is willing to overlook this and be all like, oh, well, whatever, blah, 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 it's my friend and mentor and I'm good at blah, 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 stuff like that. That pisses me off even more because he's overlooking this matter only because he is friends with the man. And that tells me if he's willing to overlook this, then he's probably going to overlook other stuff and overlook those other victims and stuff. And like, he has never once apologized to Drake, never apologized to any of the victims, at least the dudes from Boy Meets World, at least they felt horrible and stuff about what the letter they wrote. But like, Drake has said nobody has given him an apology. And not only that, but the Boy Meets World dudes are like, oh, well, it was a one-time thing. Like, no. And like, and not to mention this, I can't get this name. Yeah, so in a way, Drake did like this quiet on set thing in 2024, right? a whole 20 years later. And James will not publicly like talk about this and stuff. Like when people asked him about the documentary and the letter and everything, he has no comment. So either maybe he's ashamed or he just doesn't believe it because that's his friend and stuff. But it's one of those things the way it's kind of like, I get he's friends with him, right? Like I get that. And you know how it is with other people. Oh, you never saw your friend do this and you never saw your friend do that. People never know people until it's too late. And the fact that there was allegations against Brian Peck, this is something James should have taken seriously. This is something James should have questioned in his mind. Could it be possible? You know? Look at the Me Too movement. So many female celebrities came out against these high-profile celebrity men. And the reason why they came out during that time and not years later is because nobody will believe them and stuff. And that is the problem with society. When we hear our famous celebrity done this or our friend has done that, people don't want to believe it. I get that. But when you have like a Harvey Weinstein and a Bill Cosby situation, or what's that porno star dude name? Jeremy something. Like when you start hearing allegation after allegation after allegation after allegation and this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, this is when you need to get over yourself and start thinking, okay, it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like which side of the aisle do I want to be on? Do I want to be on the side that supports victims of sexual assault, or do I want to be on the other side of the aisle that's just like, I don't see or hear nothing, I don't care, that's my friend or that's my celebrity and everything, and the fact that James has not apologized yet just really rubs me wrong. And like I said before, maybe he just really believed Brian didn't do it, maybe he just really believed that, maybe he never saw nothing. I can give him a pass for that. But at least apologize, man. At least say, hey, you was wrong for writing that letter of consent and everything. And the fact that Disney knows about this and doesn't care, they still letting this man appear in Avengers Doomsday. You want to know who's not appearing in Avengers Doomsday and not getting his his saga movie? What's that dude's name? Jonathan Majors. One allegation of physical assault, not sexual assault, but physical assault. One video footage of him grabbing a woman out of the street and her claiming he beat her and stuff like that. And that's all it took for Marvel to say and Disney to say, get out the MCU, like get out. Like not even gonna recast his character, not even gonna do the Kang saga, just get out. And bring back Robert Downey Jr. That's all that took. One allegation and stuff. And yet they're allowing a dude who is friends with a child, sexual assaulter, and defended one and gonna let him be in the movie. And everybody's just praising him because he's in a comic accurate suit. People really do pick and choose their battles, don't they? Before I end this, there's one more thing I want to clear up. In the video, at some point in time, I said that, others accuse Brian Peck. So far, only one person has accused him and, have come forward. That, of course, was Drake Bell. Now, there's always the possibility that others, there could be other victims. There could be, but we don't know. You know what I'm saying? This could have been a one-time thing. This could be a multiple thing. But in the video, I think I might have said that there was other, victims and stuff like that. My bad. So far, there's only been one victim that we know of that's, has been confirmed, which is Drake Bell. But, normally with people like this, sometimes they are multiple offenders. So we really, truly don't know if there could be more victims or not. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.